today, so we are one hand, one sound, one accord. Repeat after me. Survivors can't wait.
Survivors can't wait.
Survivors can't wait.
Survivors can't wait.
New York must compensate.
New York must compensate.
Survivors can't wait.
Survivors can't wait.
New York must compensate.
New York must compensate.
Thank you. That's number one. 3 days left.
3 days left.
Sign our bill.
Sign our bill.
Again, 3 days left.
3 days left.
Sign our bill.
Sign our bill.
Together, FABC, victory is here.
FABC, victory is here.
Repeat. 3 days left.
3 days left.
Sign our bill.
Sign our bill.
Together, FABC, victory is here.
FABC, victory is here.
Let's go, y'all. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up.
Oh, it's the same. In front of like 2 hours. She got it? I think she dropped it. Oh, you took it up? Oh, okay.
After Danielle speaks, the ED, I'm gonna have to go for the survivor stuff.
Yes, I believe we put you on this country. Sherelle has, you have Ivy on there?
Oh, me? Her?
One of the young.
Oh.
Yes, like
That's real nice. Yeah. Because it looked like you. Yeah. I know there's a lot of people. Oh, yeah. That all. We know. Thank you.
They took the banner?
The banner, I don't know.
You got the banner.
No, we're still waiting. As you
I feel like you should be here. Yeah. You should be centered. Where are you going to be? You're going to be here? I don't think, yeah, the angle should be more centered.
Yeah.
Make sure. How's the what outlet are you?
Independent media.
Okay.
Yeah.
What outlet?
I'm on social media, my own thing.
Oh.
Thank you for the great info coming up with this.
We got a good crowd.
Okay, is this
Need somebody to hold some signs on this side, please?
here too?
It's a good showing.
No, right?
It's really good.
The snow came out.
Yeah, it means it's time.
It was
That's a
warm.
sign,
I'm like,
right?
it was warm when the legislature passed it.
I know that they should have 3 more days up until Monday. It would be a bad look if she did. Politically and
Like, I would make her put in chubby jack, but yes, ideally. Yeah, whatever works for you. Yeah, I mean, it's like close to. I know. You won't be able to hear at all.
it's been a great showing. It's a great showing. It feels like it's going to be more people coming, but I think it's still kind of early, you know, people come late. This has been a good showing. Good number. A good show of fun. I know, organizing is not easy, but I can tell you're a natural at it and y'all do great work. Y'all do good work. As you should though. You should be.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning!
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning!
We are outside. We are outside in numbers, in the cold. We are going to get this bill signed this week. Let's get it signed. My name is Sherelle Richardson, Assistant Director of Organizing here at Common Justice. And I am truly, truly, truly happy to see that we've met this day. We've reached this day. For over 2 years, we have been fighting hard for survivors and the need for victim compensation and the barriers for it to be removed. And so today, we're gathered here to hear from survivors themselves, advocates, elected officials about why Fair Access to Victim Compensation Act needs to become New York State law. Survivors can't wait!
New York must compensate.
Survivors can't wait!
New York must compensate.
Again, survivors can't wait!
New York must compensate!
And before we get started today, I have to bring our sister into this movement. She's not able to be with us today, and she's fighting in the hospital. Kelsey Hidalgo, who has been a strong advocate for victims' rights after losing her sister 2 years ago. She is fighting for rights of victim compensation for her loved ones, her sister's children. And so we have to bring her into this space this morning, as I know that she would be out here screaming and advocating for this. She's gone so strong, and so I just want to uplift her name and bring her into this space today, because we're going to do this for her. We're going to do this for her. So remember, we're going to be loud and clear. We're going to hear from folks today. They're going to share their stories. They're going to uplift other families that are unable to be with us here today. So let's kick this rally off right. We're going to hear from Danielle Sari from the from Common Justice, who's going to give us some opening remarks, and then we'll hear from some survivors directly. So if you're speaking today, please make your way towards the front so we can get started. Thank you.
Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Like even the snow came out for this today. We are here together today at the end of a long, long road we have walked as we call on Governor Hochul to finally sign the Fair Access to Victims Compensation Act into law. The whole way here we have had the privilege of working with survivors for whom this work is deeply personal. It is with and for them that we gather in today and we say our campaign will not end until we have won. We will not turn back and we will not take no for an answer. In creating this bill, we asked survivors what was needed and have worked together to enact that wisdom into law. We learned from mothers who struggled with bureaucratic processes to get the resources they needed to bury their children, only to have their applications denied. We learned from immigrant survivors who urgently needed support, healing from the lasting physical injuries from the violence they endured, but feared reporting to law enforcement because they worried they might be deported. We learned from young Black men who feared police would blame them for the harm they endured, or that they would be retaliated against for reporting, and so never got the trauma-focused therapy that they deserved. We learned from people who lost their loved ones to domestic violence, who knew too well the ways reporting to law enforcement could exacerbate rather than reduce the harm, and learned the difference it would have made if those survivors could have gone to victim service providers instead of police to get the resources and compensation they deserve to heal. We learned from Black women survivors of assault that the time frame allowed for them for reporting was always shorter than the time frame of healing, and so excluded them from the care when they were finally able to try and access it. We learned over and over again from survivors whose pain cannot be undone, but who will not stand by and watch others go through what they did. The Fair Access to Victims Compensation Act is simple. It gives survivors the time they need to report, and it does not make their healing conditional on cooperation with law enforcement. These are not new resources. They exist, and New York has chosen to put up barriers to the most marginalized survivors accessing them. It is time to tear those barriers down. New York law disbelieves victims. We believe them. New York law places bureaucracy over survivors' healing. We believe in placing survivors' healing first. Knowing how life-changing these resources can be, I will not go back to a single one of these survivors and tell them that the governor thought that their pain was insufficient, was not deep enough, not important enough to merit whatever it will take to get over any barriers to signing this bill into law. We will not tell survivors that the governor thought that some of them were wild, but not all of them. We stand here united today, and we will be by one another's side until we win. So as we approach the finish line of this bill, the question is not whether or not it's going to happen. The question is when. We have spent the last 2 years fighting alongside each other, and we will not stop fighting until we win. Governor Hochul, for survivors' sake, it is time to sign this bill into law. We will not take no for an answer, and all of us standing together will walk away together only with a win at our side. Thank you.
Survivors can't wait! New York must compensate! Yeah! Survivors can't wait! New York must compensate! 3 days left! 3 days left! Sign our bill! Sign our bill! Yeah! 3 days left! 3 days left! Sign our bill! Sign our bill! Up next, we're going to hear from survivors and folks impacted directly and who will benefit from this bill
New Yorkers need to take care of us. And we put you in place, in office to take care of us. So do what you need to do today and take care of us. No more bureaucracy, no more telling us as people, all black and brown people, that we're not enough. Or giving us timelines, or telling us no. But you tell everybody else yes. We are here to stand up for everyone. Everybody needs to be in a place where they can always hear the words yes. And get the full compensation for when something happens to their families. So today, we stand together. New York, y'all out here? We out here! When I say both sides of the violence, y'all say we outside. Both sides of the violence? We outside! Both sides of the violence? We outside! And get this compensation. We gonna get this passed today. Thank you!
Sign our bill!
Sign our bill!
FABC victory is here!
FABC victory is here!
We have Fred up next. Fred from Evertown. You have the floor. Thank you. Yes.
I did not bring my own bullhorn, so thank you very much. My name is Fred Freibush. I'm with the local group Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America and Everytown for Gun Safety Survivor Network. I work with the Survivor Connect program, offering support to survivors all over the country through remote, Zoom, grief meetings, grief counseling, but it's peer support. 23 years ago, on August 2nd, my 19-year-old daughter Sarah was trying to break up with her boyfriend. He was a gang member and had an illegal weapon. So it should have just been a bad breakup. It was murder. There is no true compensation for losing a family member or being impacted by gun violence, or for that matter, any form of violence. It's not fair. It's not fair that these things happen, but they do. We're fortunate we live in a state, one of the best states in the country in terms of gun safety legislation. But the question is, the growing number of survivors. Every year, thousands of people are impacted by gun violence and other forms of violence throughout the country. This population is growing because we haven't woken up. So how do we stop it at its source? But until this country, the state and the city comes to its senses, we have to take care of the people that are surviving. I've had the honor of talking with people all over the country. I've lost family members. Sometimes it was just a few weeks ago. Sometimes it was 20, 30, or 40 years ago. It's a wound that never heals. So what can we do to take care and provide fair access to the types of healing that we can? And certainly for people in financial need, many people are after a loss and a trauma like this. It's up to the state not just to try to get guns and violence off of our streets, but to provide the support that people need to begin the healing process. So I asked Governor Hochul, you've done so much to help to keep dangerous weapons off the streets, but what about the people that are still impacted, the growing number, thousands of us, millions of us that are still healing? Governor Hochul, do the right thing. We know you can do it. Thank you.
Up next, we're going to hear from Morel Houston, who is a member of the McQuell Jatel Anderson Foundation. Let's give it up for this mother.
Good morning. My name is Muriel Houston, and my son is...
Oh, okay.
voice, that's right. All right. Good morning. My name is Muriel Houston, and my son passed away from gun violence on September 30th, 2012.
Let's speak into it. Lift it up. There you go.
There
you go.
Let's see your mouth.
Good morning, all. My name is Muriel Houston.
Hello.
All right. Good morning, all. My name is Muriel Houston. My son passed away from gun violence on September 30th, 2012. That was 11 years ago. But the experience of him passing from gun violence, my life has changed throughout the years. And I have learned to cope with this experience, staying active and being supportive to others who have been through this experience as well. God has given me the strength through prayer and faith in God. And this is fulfilling my journey.
Yes. Amen.
Thank you.
Survivors can't wait!
New York must compensate.
Survivors can't wait!
New York must compensate.
Up next, we're going to hear from one of my colleagues, David Hopper, who is an organizer here at Common Justice. Give it up for David. Let's go, David.
Go, David.
Hello. Thank y'all for coming out. Unfortunately, the reason we're out here is not good, right? But after the end of this, hopefully it will be a good outcome.
Absolutely.
We will get the governor to sign this bill and start releasing them healing funds. Can I get a yes?
Yes!
So right now, just to give y'all a little background, I am one of the community organizers here at Common Justice. However, I am too. This gets me a little choked up. I'm sorry, I really don't speak about this. My little cousin and his best friend was killed due to gun violence. They both were 17. As most kids, most young kids do, they like to snap. Y'all don't know what snapping is, playing the dozens, making fun of each other. And they made fun of an older guy, I believe about 32, 33, and he couldn't take it emotionally. And long story short, they was in the building in NYCHA houses, and I guess the gentleman, he got to the point where he couldn't take it anymore, and he pulled a gun out, he chased them down, and killed both of them in the elevator. So at 17, they lost their lives in the building they lived in. And it doesn't stop there. The story worsens. Because his mother is disabled, she has to take the elevator. They live on the 10th floor. So every day from that moment, she had to take the elevator that her son was killed in. It took over a year for them to get her a moving voucher. It's just horrible that we don't have the funds to help a person like that move when something like that happens. Right? I can go on and on, but I'm not. What I am gonna do, I am a spoken word artist. I wrote this piece because so many mothers, so many family members lost their loved ones. And this is pretty much a voice of the mothers. Respectfully, keep your rest in peace t-shirts and candlelight visuals that are so commonly distributed to our fallen people. Can those console the aches of a mother's soul? Hell no. Of course not. But we continue to pray and hope that it stops. But after the shots, they call 911. 911 says, what's the emergency? They say there was a shooting. They say, did you say someone was shot? The preacher's preaching one godly sermon, Romans 8:38. For I am convinced neither death nor life, neither demons nor angels can separate us from the love of God. But for the love of God, why you keep letting our babies get taken?
Come on. Let's go.
We need the governor to sign this bill. I don't want to continue to create poems and spoken pieces with that kind of content. Thank y'all for coming. Let's rally, let's make noise, and let the governor know we need this bill signed.
Let's give it up again for David. Up next, we have another survivor who's going to speak. This woman has been astronomical in the movement. She is the founder and creator of the Hochul Anderson Foundation. Michelle Barnes Anderson, let's give it up for her.
Good morning. My name is Michelle Barnes Anderson. Good morning. My name is Michelle Barnes Anderson. I'm the proud mother of a forever 27-year-old. That's a forever 27-year-old murdered to gun violence at a bus stop. Graduate of Tompkins College, attending John Jay. I thank the governor for signing his bill into law, marriage law, awarding posthumous degrees to those who are killed while in college. But we need her to do more and sign this law. We need her to put this in for all the families, not just for gun violence, but domestic violence. There's so many people out here that's being abused, so many people out here that are being murdered. 6,000 is not enough. You have them dying younger and younger. Families is buying life insurance for them because they want their child to be taken care of. Nobody is thinking about my child is going to have to take care of me. So we need her to sign that law. You sign clean slate, and we appreciate that to give people a second chance. But what about the victim? We need the victim to be actually taken care of, not just to see the perpetrator back on getting their life together, but to ensure that we have peace to move on and move further. That's all I need to say right now is to beg her to please sign this bill. I know you may say, but I signed yours, but this right here is going to do for a lot more people and not just for gun violence.
Survivors can't wait! Survivors can't wait! Survivors can't wait! 3 days left, sign our bill! 3 days left, sign our bill! 3 days left, sign our bill! Up next, we have Adriel Rosario from the New York City Anti-Violence Project. Let's give it up for New York City Anti-Violence Hello all, thank you for being here today. My name is Adriel Rosario. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm an advocate at the New York City Anti-Violence Project. I work directly with queer and trans survivors every day who have experienced intimate partner, sexual, and hate violence. I spend a large part of my work filing Office of Victim Services applications so that survivors can access critical compensation for medical and counseling, legal, moving, and other costs related to healing from the trauma they experience. I have seen how this is life-saving funding for those who can access it. One of the biggest obstacles for my clients applying for funding is obtaining a police report. Queer and trans people who come to AVP are overwhelmingly deterred from applying for compensation because they do not feel safe enough to report to the police. We know that they have a valid right to feel this way, given the historical violence police have enacted on queer and trans communities, especially those of color. Queer and trans people are overwhelmingly met with homophobia, transphobia, and racism
when they do try to report. It is shocking the number of times our hotline callers and clients are told they cannot make a police report at all, even when the circumstances of violence are clear acts of hate and abuse. In cases of intimate partner violence, trans people are disproportionately identified as the person causing harm when they are the ones calling in for support. In other cases, our clients tell us they're afraid to report abuse to the police and fear that the police will violently harm their abusive partner who is trans. Police are not a viable institution to determine who experiences harm and who does not.
Right.
Most importantly, because the police themselves re-traumatize survivors who seek their support. There is more than enough research and evidence to support this. We cannot have a policy like OBS compensation that is meant to provide relief for survivors who cause even more harm by requiring them to interact with the police. It is no secret that the FBI has investigated the NYPD Special Victims Unit for mishandling sexual violence cases. We see this in a number of our clients' cases which were dropped or not investigated at all. Most recently, as this week, I started working with a trans survivor of hate violence who was physically assaulted by a group of men that left her hospitalized. The police never included the transphobic slurs the group used while attacking her and told her they would not elevate the case to the hate crimes unit. This is the norm for our communities. This is the reality for trans people in what is supposed to be one of the most trans-friendly cities in the U.S. Survivors deserve trauma-informed care and support from New York State. Mandating police involvement as a requirement for compensation systematically excludes queer, trans, and people of color from accessing the support they need. Governor Hochul, I urge you to sign the Access to Victim Compensation and make New York State a safer place for all New York survivors.
Let's give it up again! Survivors can't wait! New York must compensate!
Survivors can't wait!
New York must compensate!
Up next, we're going to hear from our public advocate, Jamani Williams. As he's speaking, we'll also be going around to have folks email our governor, so please look out for the QR code. Let's hear from our public advocate, Jamani Williams.
Peace and blessings, love and light, everybody. Glad to see everybody out here making sure we're fighting for victims. Good to be out here with my colleague, Councilman Marcia Stevens, all of the advocates who are here. I have, and the families, I'm sorry, I want to make sure I mention the families of victims. Thank you for using your words and your pain to try to turn it into purpose and actually help. I appreciate that. I know it's a hard thing to do. I heard a lot of leaders often talk about victims, and what I found is when they're talking about victims, they haven't really listened to what victims wanted and needed. And they very often are using, quite often, black and brown victims and the trauma that they had. They use that trauma to try to pass more policy that causes more harm in those communities. And here we have victims actually telling you what it is they need and what they want. And some of those same very people are not listening to what it is they're saying. So what I'm asking the governor to do is to stop abusing the trauma of victims when it comes to supporting harmful policies and listen to the pain when they talk about what it is they need. That is all we're asking. There was actually a study that surveyed victims, and it said the things they wanted the most was it not to happen to other people and to be heard and to understand what's going on with their cases. And those are the things that happens the least, even as people use them to harm them more and harm the communities. All of us who have worked with victims who keep saying we want to support victims, who keep saying we want to make sure there are no more victims, say that we have to provide support because there's no support out there. And we have to help people understand that a lot of times even the victims themselves come from communities that are uncomfortable going to law enforcement to get it what it is that they need. We should be breaking down barriers, particularly for people who have dealt with trauma of violence. At that moment, the things that they're dealing with, the decisions they have to make are unconscionable to have to make right at the specific moment when they're dealing with violence or dealing with loss. Who would think they'd have to think about the next day of a funeral when they wanted to go to work or celebrate a holiday? That's a horrible place to be in. And then to be told you have to go and do things that make more uncomfortable and might perform more trauma, so you can't get the services that you need. Governor Hochul and anyone else who brings up victims, who talks about victims, if you do not pass, sign, and support the Fair Access to Victims Act, please do not ever talk about victims again. Because you will not be talking honestly. You simply will not. And I'm so happy this was a bipartisan piece of legislation. Bipartisan means that everybody is trying. And right now it's up to you, Governor Hochul. You either want to support and help victims, or you just want to use them in name only. Peace and blessings. Love and light to you.
3 days left. Sign on bill. 3 days left. Sign on bill. Up next, we'll hear from our councilwoman from District 16, Athea Stevenson. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Peace, family. I just want to make a correction. My name is Althea Stevens, not Stevenson. No worries, no worries. We are here together, family. It is always an honor to be here and make sure that I'm supporting what needs to be supported. You know, thank you to my public advocate who always shows up on the right side of justice. He always showed up when we need to hear what needs to be said. So thank you, and we appreciate you for continuing to stand on the right side of justice. So please give it up for my brother, the public advocate, Giovanni Williams. Because as we know, everyone doesn't always show up.
That's right.
Everyone doesn't always say the things that need to be said when they need to be said. So we got to make sure we support the people who do those things. And when we're thinking about a bill that's already been passed, and we all know how hard it is to get legislation passed because of the work that you all did. So give it up for yourselves because you did the work. Now we need you to sign the bill because it doesn't make sense. I don't like things that don't make sense. Because I don't like things that don't make sense. And this doesn't make sense. When we talk about victims being re-traumatized because you're sending them through the ringer for something that they should get automatically. It doesn't make sense. So for me, I say to you, if it doesn't make sense, why are we doing this? Why are we standing out here on a cold day in snow to tell the governor to sign legislation that's been passed?
That's right.
That doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
We have to make sure that we continue to push and say that we will be heard. Victims, we're not talking about anything. People who have already been traumatized and been hurt are standing out here saying, do the right thing. Sign the bill.
That's it. That's right.
It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable that we have to keep being out here fighting. You did the work. You did it. You got both the Senate and Assembly to agree, and bipartisan at that. That's not an easy task. And so I'm really confused about why we even here. We got 3 days left, and what she needs to do? Sign on bill! 3 days left? Sign on bill! Because it's unacceptable, and if she doesn't sign the bill, we'll be back here.
Let's give it up. Up next, we have Shania from the New York City Alliance Against Sexual Assault.
Hi, good morning everyone. My name is Shania Roseborough and I am an ally. Having been a former student at John Jay College, even though we're known for criminal justice, social justice is also a prominent interconnected topic. Social justice refers to the fair and equitable distribution of resources, opportunities, and privileges within a society. It involves recognizing and addressing systematic injustices and inequalities that affect different groups. In this instance, we're highlighting the systematic injustice associated with the mandatory completion of police reports as a prerequisite for accessing victim compensation. Not everyone feels at ease communicating with law enforcement. Even as a Black woman with a criminal justice background, I still feel uneasy being being around police officers and engaging with them on occasion. As an advocate for change within the New York City Alliance Against Sexual Assault, our goal is to prevent sexual violence and mitigate its impact through education, advocacy, and research. According to internal New York Police Department documents and Department of Investigation interviews, the Special Victims Division leadership had previously estimated that only 5% to 20% of sexual assaults were reported to the police. And now that believes that the true rate is 5% or lower. That is the sad reality of things. This legislation holds significance as the funds allocated are meant to help victims, and we shouldn't be the ones hindering that assistance. Governor Hochul, your support is crucial. If your commitment to social justice is genuine, signing the bill is essential. Refraining from signing means leaving victims without the support they need, and that goes against the principles of justice, and we are here for justice. The time for action is now. Do it.
Let's give it up for this young lady. Your voices matter. They matter in this space. Our young people's voices matter. Up next we have Xavier along with two young people from New Yorkers Against Gun Violence. Let's give it up for our youth.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
My name is Xavier Cornejo, and I am a social worker with New Yorkers Against Gun Violence. I assist youth and adults who have been impacted by crimes in New York, especially gun violence. I sit with victims and survivors, and they describe the details surrounding some of the most difficult experiences of their lives. In this work, I have found that victims and survivors need more than 1 year to come to terms with what happened to them and speak to a victim service provider. It takes months to get over the shock of what happened, secure their physical and emotional safety, and summon the courage to name it to another person in hopes that they will understand. Survivors need the eligibility window to expand to 3 years under fair access to victims' compensation so they can have the time to decide what healing looks like to them. I can relate to these experiences because I am a survivor of gun violence. As a teenager, I understood what it felt like to witness another boy's life being taken away in front of me. Like the many other teens who witnessed the shooting that night, I was hesitant to speak to law enforcement due to fears of gang retaliation. Other survivors of different circumstances might not want police involvement due to fears for their partner's safety, legal impacts, and the aftermath of their pain being taken out of their control. Victims and survivors may simply want to find resources for their basic needs before we decide that someone should face consequences. Fair Access will offer us the ability to report to trusted community organizations who will help us decide what comes next in our healing journey. I join other survivors, elected officials, and community-based organizations in asking that Governor Hochul please sign the Fair Access to Victims Compensation Act and assist victims and survivors in making healing more accessible. Thank you. And I'm going to pass the mic to youth advocate Suli Yungaisela.
Hello?
Hi.
My name is Suli Yungaisela, and I am a youth leader with New Yorkers Against Gun Violence. Victim rights are important to me because they are the solution to ending gun violence. Because they are the solution to ending the cycle of gun violence. Gun violence disproportionately impacts communities of color as it causes high rates of crime. As a result, every day youth witness gun violence and crime. Gun violence takes both a physical toll on the bodies of young people as well on their mental health. Living in this kind of environment creates a distrust of both the community and government. I understand this feeling of distrust because my community, Corona, has high crime rates. I feel safe in my own community. Over-police doesn't work as it does not solve the root causes of these crimes. Robberies still happen, burglaries still happen. We can only reduce crimes to address the root causes of gun violence. Yes, there are mental health resources. However, there are systematic barriers that affect the accessibility of it. As such, one's financial, socioeconomic status of citizenship, statutes of limitation, and much more. These barriers prevent youth, especially from finding healthy ways to cope with issues involving their mental health. As a result, youth become frustrated, angry, and become a part of the cycle of violence. They would not rely on institutions made by the community or government for support. However, the Fair Access to Victims Compensation Bill will break down these barriers. It will serve as a bridge to rebuild community trust and mental health support, especially in communities of color. By extending the time frame of reporting, victims can build up the courage and strength to report. Having up to 3 years allows for the victims to heal and recover with their community. At the same time, builds trust with the community and allows them to report when they're comfortable. If they're not ready to report, the process of trust is significantly difficult, as it would deter serious issues from the victims. Through accessibility, it ensures that the youth have the tools to support and to overcome the cycle of violence. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Freya Boyce, and I am a youth leader with New Yorkers Against Gun Violence. First off, I would like to start off with a statistic. Almost 1 in 5 violent victimizations were not reported because the victims believed the crime was not important enough. Victims of shootings and other incidents this year have also increased more than 103%. As you can see, there is a pattern where victims do not feel comfortable reporting to police. This is something which needs to be stopped not only in New York, but across the U.S. I personally faced this when I was 5 years old. At 5, that was my first encounter with sexual assault. As a victim, I struggled with the violation and was emotionally scarred due to a lack of support. While this is tragic, I already know that I'm not the only one who has gone through this experience, nor will I be the last. This is why the passage of the Fair Access to Victims Compensation Act is so important to me. Victims of crime endure physical, emotional, and financial burdens that often persist long after the incident. The Fair Access to Victims Compensation Act is a testament to our collective empathy, acknowledging that healing is a comprehensive journey that requires support. This legislation ensures that those who have suffered unjustly are not left alone in their struggle for recovery. The Fair Access to Victims Compensation Act is an investment in community healing. When we provide victims with the resources they need to rebuild their lives, we contribute to the overall well-being of our society. Empowered individuals are more likely to become active, positive contributors to their communities, and fostering a cycle of resilience and compassion. This is especially true for youth in New York. Let history remember us as the advocates of justice, the champions of the voiceless, and the architects of a more compassionate and equitable future. The time to act is now, and the cause is just. Together, let us pass the Fair Access to Victims Compensation Act and pave the way for a brighter, more compassionate tomorrow. Thank you.
Let's give it up for the youth of New Yorkers Against Gun Violence! Survivors can't wait!
New York must compensate!
Survivors can't wait!
New York must compensate!
As we prepare to bring this home, because we're going to bring this home this week, y'all. We're going to bring this home. Our last speaker, we're going to have Aretha Napper Williams, founder and creator of Not Another Child, will give us some closing remarks. Let's give it up!
Good day, everyone. I stand here not only representing my son, Andrell Deron Napper, who was innocently murdered on August 7, 2006, but countless family members, countless mothers, countless fathers, countless spouses, countless parents that are left to care for babies on their own. I stand here for every one of them. We have given every statistic there is for the governor to know.
Yes.
We've given every statistic.
That's right.
We have given intricate detail of the bill. Intricate detail. Everybody expressed the bill in their own way, through their own comprehension. What it meant she's willing to come out of her comfort zone and act on it. We are looking for action. You know, great things happen in 3 days. That's right. Great things, good things happen in 3 days. A lot of things rise in 3 days. That's right. And we need this to rise to the front of her desk. And not only sit on the front of her desk, but we need that John Hancock to take place. And so today, everybody say today. Today is the day. Is the day. Today is the day. Is the day. Today is the day. Is the day. She has till Monday, but we calling on it today. We don't want this to be an EOD Monday. Like, oh, let me just get this done. No! We want it to happen today.
Today. Do it now.
We are out here today.
Today.
And so, we're going to keep doing what we've been doing. Yo, common justice is dope. Yes. I have been with them through this whole stretch. And they are about this life.
That's right.
They are about speaking for survivors and speaking for those that cannot speak for themselves.
Thank you.
And we have to continue to do our part. Because it's always in the backing of the people. The more people that we get to come on and ride this train, to email, to call, the quicker it'll happen. Because you know they know the next votes count on that, right? And so we're going to keep doing what we need to do. We thank all of you. I thank you all as a part of the steering committee of Common Justice for coming out today in the cold with hoods, with gloves, with scarves, but you found it important enough. And that's what it's about. We thank every organization that's here. This wasn't just bipartisan with the political field. It is plenty of organizations here. It's plenty of organizations that lock arms in this. To say just how, it doesn't matter if you're working with gun violence, domestic violence, whatever type of violence. Violence is violence. And so we have locked arms and we are here